Hey guys, this is Mrs. Bullock. Hey, I'm going to be posting some simple questions on Wednesday for you that I want you to answer. They're not for a grade, but it's part of a lecture that I'm having in class. And so kids who are remote and who are other part of the alphabet, I wanted you to see this. I have about 12 questions posted, and I have page numbers. This is in the posting, and the questions are they're more together, but I wanted to go over them. So if you listen to this video, you'll be able to fill them in quickly. The video is to help you gain knowledge and to make sure you're learning. Again, it's not for a grade, but I hope you quickly listen to it so you can learn about the history of West and Central Africa. So the first question talks about West Africans, and they traded actually gold for salt. Why? Crazy, because it preserved food. At the time, they didn't realize that this was a very valuable resource, gold. They used to call West Africa Gold Coast by Ghana. Now, one of the greatest emperors at the time was Mansa Musa, and it's on page 147. Mansa Musa ruled from 312 to 1337. And this guy brought about change and different cultures. The religion that he brought about was Islam, and he shared that culture and religion with the people. Now, at the time, there was this famous city, and it was called Timbuktu. That's the answer to number 4. And so this was a center for salt trade, for learning, Islamic learning and culture in West Africa. Now, at the same time, Europeans wanted a piece of that pie. They wanted Africa. They wanted resources. And so they started to enslave Africans, and they started to capture and kidnap them, take them. And they would take them to the Americas, and then they would sell the enslaved Africans to the Americans for their cotton plantations. This trade is called triangular trade, and the trade route, or the trade, was called the Atlantic slave trade. And along the Atlantic is where they had this triangular trade, where they would trade slaves from Africa to the Americas, the Europeans. Okay? During this particular time, it was a horrible conditions. And they show the boat here of how Africans were stuffed in the boat and lined up and mistreated. And this passage from the Americas, Europe, and Africa was called the Middle Passage. It was a grueling voyage across that Atlantic that formed the middle leg of that triangle trade. Again, Middle Passage, and that's question number 8. Now, at the time, slavery was outlawed in the U.S. and Europe in the 1800s. In the late 1800s, European countries started to again look at Africa for more colonies. They wanted resources. They didn't care about the people. There's something that Africa offered them that they wanted. And so colonialism is something that took place. And it's a policy where another country overrules or takes over another country. They also talk about imperialism. And imperialism is very similar. Basically, it's a policy of creating an empire, taking over another country. And this is what the Europeans did to the continent of Africa. Now, in 1884, Europeans leaders met, and that's question 11, and they divided up Africa among themselves. They had no real care about what they were going to do. They didn't care about ethnic groups. They didn't ask any of the leaders, hey, how do you feel? They just divided and they took over. And so you can see the map actually. It talks about what colonies, European countries. The French actually had most of West Africa. You can see that. They talk about Belgium, and you can see the breakdown of the particular areas. The effects of what happens for question number 12. Basically, what happens is in 1884, the Europeans met, they divided it up, and they ignored ethnic groups. They ignored cultures. They ignored people. And from that became divisiveness. Leaders who didn't care. Causes, again, is the Europeans wanted resources. They didn't care how they got it, but they wanted it. And it really comes down to producing industrial goods and markets. So that will help you through those quick 12 questions, that quick lecture for you to listen to. We will continue this and discuss the Atlantic slave trade in the Middle Passage and the European colonization of Africa and what the end result, because even today you see the after effects of just taking and not thinking about who you're taking from or what you leave behind. I hope you guys have a great day.